My name is Gary Moorehead, and I am the founder and director of Kataluma Refugees Hospitality. Kataluma would be in that category of a somewhat more organized group that's not a resettlement organization, but that really has an interest in helping refugees and asylees or asylum seekers when they come. So we have 3+1 areas of service that we have that sort of drives our mission and vision. And the first is housing. That can take different forms. Food, which is partly about just providing food, but it's also about shared meals. And then a more harder to define, but still very important category of friendship, of social capital, of fellowship, just that's kind of social engagement dimension. We've added transportation as a distinct fourth kind of service. So possibly tomorrow or early next week, I'm going to take one of the refugee dads and his son here. He's gotten really excited, really wound up about trains, and every time we drive on the road, and he's a train. He sees the train. So we're going to get on a train in the coming days. I'm really excited about getting Yusuf on the train and showing him how to get on and get off. So that'll be fun. So one of the most interesting and of course challenging as well as rewarding experiences for both the Afghans and the hosts themselves is when people open up their homes. And in some respects, that's probably the most delicate and careful aspects of what we do or we're trying to do. With Kataluma, many of us are volunteering and doing maybe some administrative stuff, but some of us are also getting engaged even on the level of welcoming the Afghans into our homes. And Natasha, who you've spoken with, and her husband Jeff and her sons they've sort of led the charge on that. They've opened up their home, and they've been great. They're naturals at this, and whereas most people it's a little bit scary and they need a lot of guidelines. The Smith family, they just figure it out. So if we're doing our basic our basic model, cut.
It's okay.
Natasha Smith, you just interrupted our really important recording here.
Please say hi.
My name is Natasha Smith. I am currently hosting 2 Afghan refugees, a young couple. One is pregnant, which is really fun because I can see her progress. I live in Concord, and I'm a professional organizer and move manager, so I help people through transitions. I'm Russian Orthodox. I'm a first-generation American, and I think that informs a lot of what I do. So then when the Afghan crisis came, we sort of switched gears into delivering food and hospitality to people where they were. But with the Afghan influx, it was so fast that people were housed in a hotel in Brookline, and they had a grant, but they had to be fed. And I think it's not only just feeding them food, but friendship and sort of spiritually too. The first night, it was so touching because there was the first family who arrived in Boston, and I delivered a meal from an Afghan restaurant, and they sat down on the floor and they spread out just a plastic thing, and they had a toddler, and I was just amazed that the toddler didn't go on the plastic. And they sat down to say prayers, and they prayed for their family, and then they turned to me and they said, "Can we pray for your family?" And I was just like in tears because everything that they'd been through, they'd been in a camp for 2 months, and it was very traumatic the way they exited, and in that environment they could pray for my family.
We take care of a lot of food issues, food and feeding. So for example, we make sure that any of the Afghan families that REACT sends our way, that the first night that they are here, that they have real authentic Afghan food made by Afghans who are here. And that's symbolic, it's a trademark thing, but it's more than, than kind of a gimmick or a trademark thing. The impact it usually has on Afghans is pretty cool. It's really a good thing.
So every meal has tomatoes in some form or another, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, I'll call or I'll text and I'll say, what do I need anything from the market? And it's like tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. And I was laughing with the guy. So I was like, couldn't I just have a case of tomatoes? He's like, what do you do with all those tomatoes? I was like, I don't know, it tastes good.
We deliver food. We have a bunch of volunteers that go out and deliver this food, and we collaborate with a couple of food banks to provide the food. And we also do occasional airport pickups, and we do household setups. We deliver furniture to people who are setting up new homes. But then we're also always looking for that third piece of our mission for those who are just content just to receive the food or whatever it is they need. That's great, but sometimes there are others who are looking for more, like they're pretty lonely. They're asking us for more involvement and investment. People sometimes outright say, can we come to church, or can you come to eat with us?
Well, it's actually been a wonderful thing because I have a 25-year-old son and he's just about the same age as Raj. So they've been going running together and we have tea together and he brings out his guitar and it's been really fun. We had a fire the other night. They put a little too much fire starter on and there was this big
I mean, one disappointment would be that we wish more locals would have put forward more housing options for us. I believe that one of the main reasons why we're seeing an extension of this whole big program from half a year to almost a year is the lack of housing options that have come forward, that have been put forward. One concern I have is, and I think the jury's still out on this, but there are times where I see the treatment of Afghans. One of them put it like this. They say that we sometimes feel really powerless, and we've arrived here and we feel like we're just told what to do. Some of the Afghans have expressed some real frustration and sadness, and I'm trying to evaluate that, think about it as well as feel it and have sympathy. That they still feel really powerless. That the process of resettlement sometimes does not really take their agency, their dignity into account so much, that they are just put here, and they're one of them expressed it. We don't feel like human beings where we're cooperating with the process, but we feel like we're just animals that are moved from one barn or pen to another. And I hear that kind of stuff and we go, wow, we need to really take that to heart and think that through and see if there's a better way to do things.
I would say it's taught me not to judge or and to be really not to have any preconceived notions. Yeah, not to judge, because I can never be in their shoes. I try to put myself in their shoes, but I can't.